Hi, and welcome to Tony's Cool Tools. I really appreciate you being here. So my little town here in central Wisconsin made national news. We recently received 5+ inches of rain in just over an hour, and naturally flooding all over the place and all sorts of damage. And you folks down south know that better than anyone. But it still does the damage whether it's down south or up north here. Let me show you some of the damage that I received. Though my house sits on top of the hill and it fared okay, my problem is my driveway, as usual. So here's how bad the driveway is. It grooved all the way down here, snaked on not only one side, but both sides here. Here's craters up to about 8 inches deep on both sides. It's washed out everything here. My tire actually just sinks right into the gravel now. And it washed all the gravel down here. And though totally coincidental, Artillian, the manufacturer of tractor and UTV ATV attachment, sent me their new land plane to review. Talk about great timing. So depending on what type of equipment you have, like a tractor behind me, a skid steer, a UTV or ATV, or even your riding lawnmower, there's a lot of different attachments for grooming the driveway. And over the years, I've used a number of these light-duty attachments. And in my opinion, the land plane by far is the best piece of equipment for taking care of your driveway. And not only will it do your driveway maintenance, but it'll also fill in potholes, smooth ditches, and level land for you, whether that's dirt or gravel. Let me explain why this Artillian land plane is so different than anything on the market you've seen. This land plane was designed for compact or subcompact tractors, and though the footprint is 60 inches wide, it does a 54-inch cut. Now most driveways are 10 to 12 feet wide, so 2 to 3 passes with this will do the trick with no problem at all. Now as I mentioned previously, I have owned multiple different driveway grooming attachments. Unfortunately, most of them don't work because they're too light. They just skim the top of the driveway and that's it. They don't go underneath and bring up any of the gravel. And the land planes that are sold today, the light duty ones, only weigh about 400 pounds. And they do the same thing. Better, but the same thing. They just skim over the top. Artillian is the only company in the industry that offers an accessory to allow you to put more weight on this. And I'll show you that momentarily. So here are some details on this Artillian land plane. First, it's made in the USA. And this unit is 60 by 47 by 33. Now, as I mentioned previously, it does cut in 54 inches. And it weighs 400 pounds like you see it here. So you have 2 cutting bars here, front and back. And they're also reversible. If you should damage the bottom side here, you could flip it and get a brand new side here on top. But they're made out of 1084 steel, which is some tough material, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. And you do have adjustable shoes on the frame here so that you can set it totally flat with the blades, or the way I've set it up is to go -1 inch so that the blades are below this shoe here. And I can grab more gravel. I really like the design of this scarifier, and the purpose for the scarifiers is when you have super compacted gravel, you set these down and it digs up the ground, almost like a little bulldozer. And there are 4 of them here. But one thing that I like about it is the ease of adjustment here. All you do is you pull a little cotter pin here, and you can just remove this pin right here and adjust it as necessary. Some of the other ones you need tools like pliers or clips or something else. This is super easy. And this optional accessory here is what separates this land plane from any other land plane in the market. Let me show you. Someone was thinking when they designed this accessory right over here, by utilizing standard cinder blocks, which by the way are 7 5/8 by 7 5/8 by 15 5/8, and they weigh 38 pounds apiece. So by putting 6 blocks in here, you're gaining 228 pounds, or increasing the weight on this land plane to about 750. And I'll show you one other thing you can do with it. After you've installed your 6 blocks, there's still plenty of room here. It's nice and flat to put 3 more cinder blocks lengthwise, which will give you another 100 pounds of ballast here. And if not, you can use the tubes of sand that you usually put in the back of your pickup truck or your vehicles for traction in the wintertime, and those are 40 pounds apiece, so you'll get 80 pounds there. This happens to be the tube sausage, or the ballast sausage, from Chris from In the Woodyard's tractor. He finally put a decent ballast box on, and he gave me this and he says, hang on to it. It's going to be worth some money someday. And one thing I forgot to mention, this Artillian land plane is quick hitch compatible. It does come with all the bushings necessary to convert this into a quick hitch, so you don't have to play around with trying to put it on manually. And for those of you who are fashion conscious, this does come in 3 different colors: green, orange, and black. So if you're wondering what the cost is on this land plane, it's $15.99, and that's for the land plane alone. Now if you want the accessory, the cinder block accessory, that's $229. And if you go on the internet and check out land planes, that's extremely competitively priced for what you get. And it's made in the US, and in my opinion, it's an extremely good value. The first thing I have to do is get some gravel and fill in all the low spots. Before I start grading here, I wanted to mention a couple of things. Firstly, when you get the land plane, you want to make sure that you set it up in the flattest place that you have. Most level place that you have, like your garage or your pole barn on a concrete floor. And go ahead and set your top link first, get that all set up, and then some people want to have a crown on their driveway, and you do that with your link arm over here and the turnbuckle that's over there. And you adjust it either left or right depending on what you want. Me, I'm doing neutral. I'm going to try, I have crowned this and it didn't seem to help out, so I'm going to slope it one way going out, so if I get damage, it's only going to be on one side and not both. The other thing is you want to make sure that when you are using your land plane, that you're in the lowest gear possible on your tractor, whether you have a shuttle shift or hydraulic or hydrostatic transmission. You put it in the L mode and you go very slowly when you do this because it will stall. You'll get enough gravel here to stall your tractor. From this to this. So as you can see, after a couple of passes, I know I'm short on gravel. So I got to make another trip to the gravel pit and pick up at least another 6,000 pounds, if not more, and fill in all these low-lying areas here. But I think you got an idea of how this land plane is beneficial for driveways or flattening out areas. And when you saw me get stuck with the tractor, that's because my tires were in the area that I put brand new loose gravel and there was no traction. All I had to do was lift up the 3-point just a little bit, about 3 or 4 inches, and I was able to get out of it. So hopefully you found this video informative. And I will have information in the info section below on the Artillian company. And if you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And give me a thumbs up as well, please. And remember, pass it forward. Make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Until I see you next time, have a great day.